Welcome, everybody, to our first episode of our brand new podcast for the performance marketing space, To The Point. I'm Zach Bloom, alongside my co-host.
I'm Sean McCormick.
And Sean, we've been talking about doing this for a really long time now, so it's hard to believe it's actually here.
I think we started talking about doing this when we were at CMG.
I think so. It's one of those things that we just kept putting off, and then...
2019.
Yeah, I guess like a month ago, we're like, all right, let's fucking go. And here we go. So why are we doing this?
Well, we're doing this for a few reasons. I think one, we want to create an environment for entrepreneurs to come on, share a little bit about their business, but also we want to have authentic, genuine conversations and really get to the point of some of the core issues in our space. I feel that there's a lot of really great podcasts on right now, but I think there's a blurred line that starts to occur when podcasts are sponsored, and then you start to be a little bit more cautious about some of the questions that you're asking, and you start to curate the guests a little bit differently as well.
Yeah, and to your point, I think there are a ton of podcasts in this space. There's no shortage of them, so what's one more, right? But, I think you and I both want to do something a little bit different, and, I think at its core, maybe just give back and give entrepreneurs, business owners, people in this space a forum to really tell their story, tell why they're doing this, what they're doing, and have some real conversations. With that, how are you doing? I know you're a big Mets fan, so big night last night?
Dude, I hardly slept last night. I mean, it was so intense and so exciting. I mean, I'll start with this. I mean, I thought that the season and the game was going to end in the inevitable failure that was in a typical Mets season. And I was upstairs watching the game, and I was, getting ready. I was thinking about what I was going to say to my son. He was downstairs watching the game. I didn't want him to see the disappointment on my face. But when I was up there, I was thinking it was time to introduce him to the church.
Right.
You know what church I'm talking about?
The Mets fan for Yankee Church from the old WFAN days.
That's right. Yeah. Right. I had this whole speech prepared for him because I knew he was going to be upset. Pete Alonso delivered
for once, for a change.
And I didn't need to deliver the speech.
So. I know, you guys all hate him all year. Now all of a sudden he's a hero. It's funny how sports works.
For 48 hours he'll be a hero.
Did you sleep?
No, I didn't get any sleep.
How are we going to do the show today? How are you going to get through?
I had an iced macchiato for breakfast.
Very manly.
I suppose we're going to grab some lunch. And then I have some Neuro gum here for energy and focus. Not sponsored by the show.
Okay, not yet.
Nope. And so I'll chew some of that, and we'll see where we land.
Okay. Macchiato and Neuro gum. Let's do it. I had my Dunkin' this morning. It's Friday, so I do my Peloton Friday before we come in, and then you add a large iced coffee to that, and I'm ready to go.
Did you get the big guy?
The large French vanilla. You know my order. I've been doing this. It's a very easy order. It's a French vanilla, no milk, no cream, French vanilla black. I've had a long time with Dunkin' Donuts in various locations for whatever reason, adding milk, adding sugar, messing it up. But I'm in a good spot right now with Dunkin'. It's the one by my house. The manager, George, he sees me. They start getting to work right away. I get to the cash register. We're just talking temperature at that point. It's either it's going to be a hot one or an iced one. He knows the drill. So I got that. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. Let's do it.
Well, jealous of your relationship with your Dunkin' guy.
Well, you've seen the downside of
I've seen
a few others.
I've seen where it doesn't go right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, they put the sugar and the milk in, and I'm the asshole for asking for a new one. But no, we're good. The Dunkin' Donuts has been bringing their A game lately. So,
well, maybe we could bring our A game today.
I hope so. That's the plan. At least a B plus. Worst case, we have episode 1. We have a good guest, a legend of sorts in the space. So excited to bring him in. Today, our very first guest ever, is the founder and CEO of Palo Media Group. He is a lover of Chipotle and tequila. He is the founder of the networking event, the Caller Meetup. He respects wood, and he is one of the foremost authorities on all things pay-per-call, Mr. Anthony Paluzzi.
Thank you. I think just everyone should know that respecting wood is the most important piece there.
He respects wood.
How did you become the self-proclaimed respecter of wood?
It just happened.
You a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan?
I am, but I don't recall that.
There was an episode where Larry starts asking people if they respect wood because someone ruined a piece of furniture. Since he has the lovely Susie Green hanging over his head, we figured we'd throw that one in.
Courtesy of you, Zach. Fantastic Christmas present. I very much appreciate it. Sean, you didn't send me anything, so it is what it is. Well, I won't worry about it.
Get the same gift this year from me.
Yes, wonderful. Yeah, but I do respect wood, so let's just get that clear.
Good.
It's important.
It is important. It's
almost as more important than anything we're going to talk about in the paper call space today.
Oh, way more important. Look at this. Like, are you guys stoked that this is like you've? How long have you been talking about putting a podcast together?
We were talking about that earlier. 5 years.
Yeah, it's like
swear to God.
Yeah, you talk about it, but it never, it never.
So, what was the original name of the podcast?
I don't think we ever got that far. It was just one of those.
Okay.
Hey, we should do this, and that was before everybody started doing this. So thanks for coming on. How is everything at Palo Media these days?
It's good. It's good. I like this. I like how casual we are right now. This is how podcasts should be. This is cool. Everything's great. No, everything's good. We're gearing up for an amazing Q4. Hopefully doing a lot in AEP or during AEP, pretty much across the board. Building some new shit, building up some new team members. Things are great. I mean, it's not like it's anything life-changing as far as like brand new verticals we've rolled out, but we're happy where we're at. We're building, we're growing, and we're having fun doing it.
So earlier you were showing us the office. I don't know if everyone's going to see that clip, but there was a fish tank in it, and you mentioned you were moving your office. Where are you moving your office to, and why are you moving?
I have no idea where my office is moving to. This office, I've been in here for 4 years. It's literally next to Plymouth Rock. Like, Plymouth Rock is outside of my door. So I get so many tourists that come in that are confused on where it's at. And really, they just want to use my bathroom. And I'm just like, they'll come in and be like, what is this place? I'm like, just ask to use the bathroom if you want to use the bathroom. Just do it. But this is owned by... Yeah, they're not... They like look around. They're like, oh, what is this? And I'm like, the bathroom's right there. Just go. And they're like, thank you, appreciate it. But this office is owned by a marina that's here, and they're going to tear it down and turn it into boat storage. So they've been really cool. They're like, hey, we're going to tear it down. So we'll just be out by the time we tear it down. But I have like 1,500 square feet in this office just for me. So I have too much room in here to just have fun. I only use like 400 square feet of it to work.
When you got that office, were you thinking like you do some like really cool stuff with it, or?
Yeah, because I had 2 individuals at the time, which I believe both of you have met one of them, my very, very tall friend. And then I just realized we don't need an office. This is actually pre-COVID. And then after COVID, well, I guess, are we ever pre-COVID or post-COVID? But pre-quarantine, I was going to bring people in here, but then I realized I don't need people in an office. So yeah, I mean, we've always been remote, but I just wanted a cool spot to also be able to separate. So yeah, now it's kind of just like an apartment as well as an office.
With random strangers trying to use the bathroom.
Yeah. Like imagine if you had an apartment, but random people walked in who just saw the Mayflower, and now they want to, drop a deuce in your bathroom.
Perfect.
So you kind of brought us back to the start 4 years ago. How did you get started in pay-per-call, and kind of what interests you in it?
What's great about this question is that I don't think like us three have ever had this combo.
Probably not.
Like we just met each other and we're like, all right, cool. Like, it wasn't, who are you? So this is great.
We're really getting to know each other for the first time.
It's like,
after what, like 8 years or 9 years, we were finally like knowing each other. How did I get started? So I started in 2010, and I was knocking doors for Comcast. Knocking doors sucks, and so I was like, all right, how do I not knock doors and make money? And so I discovered the internet in terms of marketing, and then I drove calls to myself essentially as a door-to-door sales rep, and everyone hated me because they're like, we're out here knocking doors and you're quadrupling your quota. And at one point they were like, yo, you got to stop. Or no, my manager was loving it because she came in with like a new Chanel purse every month because I was crushing it for her. And she's like, hey, you got to kind of stop. And I was like, I'm not going to, Wendy. That was her name, Wendy. I was like, I'm not going to do it. It's just, I can't knock doors. And so while I was doing that, I discovered Commission Junction, and they had pay per call there. And so when they eventually said, peace out at Comcast, I already started with Commission Junction doing what I did for Comcast, but for like Allstate, DeVry. I think it was Allstate and DeVry mainly in the beginning. And then it just kind of ramped up from there. And then from there, I realized, oh, I could be an affiliate, but there's no one else out there who gets pay per call kind of like I do. I mean, there was like Ellenberg, Justin Ellenberg, the master of ceremonies himself, which, yeah, the uninvited master of ceremonies himself. There was Eric Evans, David Queek. I think Brian Carosi was around then too. I haven't talked to him as much, but there weren't that many people. So I was like, I'll start the network side because I know how to talk to people like me. And it just grew from there. And then we grew the team. We grew what our focus is. We got an office that we don't need. Yeah. And then I met you guys eventually on that ride, which we won't go into that day, but okay.
Maybe we will.
That was when you were still Get Me Profit, correct?
Right.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Imagine having a company that does a lot of good calls and then trying to close a big client and they say, okay, what's your company name? And you say, oh, it's Get Me Profit. Yeah, I didn't really complete a lot of IOs at that time. And so I was like, all right, I got to change my name. I think it was around like 2014, we changed to Palo. And yeah, and it was probably around 2015, 2014 that we met. I have a question for you two.
Yeah.
Ooh.
How did you guys meet?
That's a good one.
You want to start?
Yeah, we believe it or not, we went to high school, or middle school, high school, and college together.
Okay. Well, yeah, like who was the dude that you knew was like, all right, we're gonna have to carry him at the end of the night, and who was the dude that was like always driving, that kind of thing?
We had a driver.
Yeah. We had a buddy who was sober, and he's still sober to this day.
Yeah,
he's never touched alcohol in his life.
So that was a nice perk. Great dude, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
he actually might be a sponsor of the show.
That's true.
Firewise Consulting. If you happen to ever be looking for fire protection for your building that you may be building, check out firewiseconsultants.com.
Good plug.
Yeah, thank you.
No, we grew up in a small town, so we kind of a close knit group of friends. Small high school class, what was like 200 total or so.
227.
Wasn't that much.
Yeah,
but so we were all pretty close. There was no real role.
Wait, did you just throw out a random 227 right there?
We ended up going to college together for a little while, and then Sean's like you in the pay-per call space for like lead gen. So Sean's been in the lead generation space since I think it started, and you could talk to that better than me, obviously. But he had always wanted me to kind of come work with him, get involved in the industry. I was always just like a bartender, didn't know what I wanted to do, and then kind of the stars aligned one day on the work side, and we've been doing that ever since. So,
okay, all right. I like how I just flipped it right there. That was fantastic.
You asking the question?
Yeah, this is my podcast now.
It's like we're supposed to do in an interview.
Yeah, totally.
What was your role in high school?
I think my role was to get the weed. That was my role. Like, because my older brother always had weed, and I would just steal it from him and replace it with oregano. And I used to do it so much that I would be stealing back oregano, and they'd be like, "Yo, dude, you gotta slow down." And my brother, I've talked to him recently about it. He's like, "I knew that you were stealing my weed. I would just leave that for you." And I had this whole batch over here. So I was the weed dude.
Awesome. Oh, I'm glad you're honest, though.
How did you go about from changing your name, Get Me Profit, to Palo anyway? Like, what was the idea of the name behind it?
Well, Get Me Profit just sucked at the time. So I was like, all right, let's just get away from that. And then I was trying to think of like some cool names. And then I thought about what's personal and what's unique. I didn't want to call it like Palo Media Group or something like that. One day I randomly was just at my dad's house, and there was something on a family tree picture or something, because we have like a trillion Italian-based things there. Because he had to just show everyone how Italian he was. I was like, yeah, we get it, Dad. You named me after you. We get it. Palo is a my last name is a derivative of the word Palo. So like, cool, simple. It's 4 letters. It's Palo. People think often that it's Palo Alto, and then they literally hear me speak, and they're like, "There's no way you're from California." so yeah, but that's where Palo came from.
Very cool.
About running
Obviously,
Palo.
you've been doing it for a while now. So what keeps you going? Like, what do you enjoy most about running the company? And
I mean, without being like too granular with all the like, being an entrepreneur type of stuff, but like, I just love to build kind of a motto that I've always kind of just kept in my head is just build cool shit with cool people. So I just like to build cool shit. And I've always seen that this business allows you to like always kind of evolve and grow in different ways and destroy certain things in certain ways and then have to rebuild. And it's just fun. And I never knock anyone for having a job if they're not an entrepreneur or a business owner or whatever, but it's just fun. Like my favorite things are to bring really cool people on that I want to grow with and I want to learn from. I want to be the dumbest person at the company. It's not that hard, by the way, because I'm an idiot. But like, I really love to just build relationships with people in the team, obviously externally, and then watch them win, watch them grow, and just it's that kind of like watching part that is so fascinating to me. And sometimes I get, not sometimes, all the time I get imposter syndrome every minute of the day. So like it's kind of funny how it just sticks around. But I kind of went off a tangent on your answer. But yeah, it's just I really like to build cool shit with cool people, and I have the ability to actually do the building. So it's fun.
You mentioned like destroying things and then kind of like building them back up, which kind of leads me to a question: is like, what's the biggest challenge you've had at Palo so far?
Oh, that's an awesome question. The biggest challenge so far, I would say that the biggest challenge, I think just in general, from a broad perspective, is always just in my playbook, if you want to call it that. You can't accomplish anything without great people. So the biggest challenge for me is always just finding the very best people who want to learn and want to grow and want to own shit. That's just a continuous challenge. You'll never solve that problem. It's not a problem, it's a challenge. Nothing, and it's not that the team that we have now isn't that. It's just you always have to continuously be doing that in a way. So I would say that's it. And then from there, something that I've actually learned is that the biggest challenge is making sure we identify where our time should go. I've always been a marketing minded person where it's like I want to test everything. I want to just mess around with it. I want to break it. I want to do all this shit. And you begin to realize, okay, time is much more precious than you know. Before I had a kid, it was like just do whatever. Now that I have like kids, I realize I'm not going to be in the office till 8 because I don't want to. So now I have to use my time more wisely. So I'd say those two things.
Yeah, I think like at Covalent, when we were running that business, like we faced a lot of challenges, right? Some of them were technological. We tried to build a lead gen platform, but we used a company out of like a tech service out of Bangladesh.
Yeah, offshore.
And it just like was delay after delay after delay.
Yeah.
And right when we thought we were really ready to launch the platform, we hired a VP of sales. And so VP of sales starts, we lose our 2 largest clients at the time, and he starts and the technology wasn't working. And that was like a holy shit moment for us.
Yeah, it was like the money pit.
Yeah.
So.
And that was
yeah.
But it has a happy ending. But before we get there, like the next couple of months, we started really hemorrhaging cash in the business, like really severely. You know, Zach had to put personal money in to pay our Amex. We didn't take paychecks for 9 months.
Yeah.
I had a ton of Ethereum back then, and I sold all of my Ethereum to just support my life.
And
Yeah.
what did you buy in at then?
God. Well, I bought it in tranches. I think 80, 200, and 400 were my entries.
Jesus Christ, damn! I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but I feel as if that paid off in many more multiples given to where you guys are at now.
In different ways, I think. I think we like life wouldn't be what life is today without those, those challenges and hurdles.
Yeah, and I think you struck a chord too. And again, this show's not about us. This is your forum today, but I think a lot of people that watch this might be business owners or entrepreneurs, and it's, it looks good when you're doing it. It's cliche, but no one sees what goes on behind the scenes ever.
Yeah.
Especially
it kind of sucks.
Everybody's an expert on something. Everybody's doing amazing and great. And no one ever, tells about the struggles that they have. And when they
for sure.
Where it's like, oh, I'm great because I got past this, and you can too. But these were real. It's real life.
Totally. Oh yeah, I've had a lot of those dark moments for sure. And Palo is regrowing in a different way right now, where I've had more of those moments more recently, and it's interesting. But at the same time, I kind of like it. It's weird. It's kind of like, oh, cool, this is a challenge. It fucking sucks. But what's cool about it is that a lot of people don't get to own a suck.
Right.
Like, if that even makes sense. People don't own the suckage. And so for me, I'll have like that thought of like, I'm so stressed out. I'm burned out. I'm tired. The numbers are in the red. But at the same time, there's a little piece of it that's like, but you know what? Like, I own this. This is mine. I get to say that this is my horror story. No one else is imposing on me. I am. And so it lets me look at it as like, there's so many people who maybe just hate their job, and they show up to their job and they can't do anything about it, and they just get stuck in it. And that's it. They're forced to own the suckage. Whereas for me, it's like, yeah, this is my suckage. I kind of like it. And, like you said, everyone sees the glory on LinkedIn or whatever. A lot of people don't see that this game is probably 90% shitty. And those 10% wins far past that 90%, which keep you going. And so for me, I look at it as, that's great. I've been having a consecutive run of just suckage. This is a new word, by the way, suckage. I've had a consecutive run of suckage, but I know that there's going to be something that pops that wipes all that out and sets us up for even more. But then there's a whole new layer of complexities after that. All right, cool. You've graduated to the next level. Get ready for some more bullshit that's even harder. And I like how you mentioned that, because I stopped watching podcasts a lot because in our industry, because not a lot of people talk about that shit. I don't at the end of the day, like, I don't give a fuck about your campaign to a degree. I want to learn about this person and what you've gone through and all of that. And I want to chop it up or whatever.
I think, just going back a little bit, something you mentioned earlier was one of the things you enjoy is the people, right? Is getting to work with people that are smarter than you, that you get to build them up and kind of teach them something that maybe they wouldn't have been doing if it wasn't for you bringing them into Palo. It kind of brings us back to Covalent Media Group again, and I'm sure we'll touch it across different companies, but like, it's so fucking important to understand the people that work for you, their talents and skills. Yes. I think as entrepreneurs, we don't do a good enough job really understanding what people are good at. We hire them for a specific thing, and we expect them to do that thing really well. But it doesn't always work out that way. We extended too much credit to the wrong clients. The most embarrassing thing we did is we billed the wrong client for $67,000.
We invoiced the wrong client for about $65,000. We, not being me, I had nothing to do with accounting.
It wasn't me either.
Okay.
We should have found it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like Zach kept saying, like, we're struggling. We're not paying. Like, he and we're paying our employees, but we're not paying ourselves.
Yeah, we're paying employees, we're paying media partners, we're paying for insurance, we're paying rent. We're not getting paid. And in the back of my head, I'm like, something's not happening up here.
Zach kept saying that to me. Like, I don't get it. Something isn't right. And I'm like, thinking he's accusing me of embezzling from the because I'm like, I don't know. So we finally like start little piece by piece things started to make sense, and we're like, we have a really big fucking problem with our books. That's like our biggest problem. And then outside of our books, how we're buying media was a problem. Like there's always something that we're learning along the way. And right before we sold the company, I think we really had figured out like all of the kinks in the business.
Yeah, we got a good accountant, and we also, bring it back to your world a little bit. We pivoted more from, traditional lead generation to pay per call.
Yeah.
We had always kind of dabbled in it. We had been working with you and a couple of works over the years, but not really. It wasn't our main revenue driver at all. And then towards the end, it started to be, and then we've just been doing that for the last 5-6 years now. Not strictly, but primarily.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We started with what, Go Health campaign or something like that.
Yeah, Go Health and eHealth and some of the Medicare guys, and then that became home services and auto and now legal and all that stuff. So kind of like you like to break shit and build it back up. We broke everything. We're trying to build it back up. So I guess there's a little kind of kinship there with you.
Oh, totally.
So.
And I love how you said too about the finding what people's skills are. I used to think, hey, this is how I do it, and I'm this good at it. You should be that good at it too. And it would, it definitely doesn't work. In no way does that work. But I did realize I have to make sure I'm the quietest one in the room. And so one thing I've learned is that people shouldn't look at you as the boss in a way. They're going to organically look at you as this person could get rid of me in a day. But you should make it so that they feel comfortable enough so that they can speak up. Anthony, dude, will you shut up for a second? You're doing it wrong. And I do that by setting the tone. And I do it in a very blunt way. And I'll say, listen, I know that you think I'm the boss. And I know that you think if you say the wrong thing or if you do the wrong thing, you may lose your job. But you know what's going to actually lead you to lose your job? Not speaking up and not being transparent. That's going to suck when that day comes. And so if you don't speak up and give your opinion, even if it's wrong, even if it's whatever, you think it's dumb, you have to speak up. And I'm making a promise to you right now that you won't be in trouble. You won't be looked at differently, because you're going to be looked at differently if you can't get the job done and you don't speak up. And so I try and make it very clear to the team. And I always try to make it clear, hey, I'm here to work for you, because at the end of the day, without you guys, there is no Palo, and I'm not trying to do this alone. So speak up, because nothing makes me happier than somebody doing something without my input. But you'll never know unless you let them speak up, and then you'll never know what their skill sets are unless you have them speak up. And I hope to think that that's what helps us like grow as a team, and people enjoy being at Palo, where it's like, oh, I have a voice. I'm not just a cog in a wheel. I don't know what it is, but if someone tells me like, dude, will you please just cut the shit? Let me handle this. You keep messing up the process. Cause I like to help. I like to get in there. And sometimes people are like, I hate it when I see you jump onto this Google Hangout. And it's like, just get out, bro. We've got this. So it just makes me happy. Yeah. It makes me happy that I'm kind of annoying in a way. So yeah.
Have you ever had that speech to the team, and then someone came in from Plymouth Rock to use the bathroom, and they're like, hey, I have an idea on pay-per-call?
When that day happens, I'll be sure to FaceTime you guys. Yeah. Do. I'll be sure to hear their idea. That's our think tank. It's the front door.
So I guess, kind of bringing it back to some pay-per-call stuff, is there like one call that you've heard that's gone like horrendously or horrifically wrong, and you're listening to it and you're like, oh my God, this is so bad?
Yeah. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say if it's like PII.
I don't know if I would say the person.
I had one with the FTC, and they were just asking me questions about the addiction treatment space, which we used to do a lot of work in, and then it just got slimy. And then another one was I think it was an attorney general, when we were doing a lot in Medicare as well, and they sent me a letter, and they were like, hey, we got to talk. And I remember just being, okay, my day's done. It was like at 8 a.m. I was like, okay, can't think about a single thing for the rest of the day.
What as you guys evolve at Palo, what's like an untapped vertical that you may or may not be working on right now that you think there's kind of exponential growth for in the pay-per-call space?
I would say that this has actually been something that's been on my mind because I've been thinking a lot about the whole blue ocean strategy, but how to actually implement it. There are so many industries within the call space that are a red ocean right now. I mean, ACA is just a prime example of that. But I would say that there are going to be more, and I've been talking to a buddy of mine about this more, but he's begun to look at ways that, so he does a lot in timeshare exits, and he looked at it as it's not necessarily a product, it's just how you approach the exit itself. And so he just has an attorney that he works with that specializes in getting people out of timeshare exits. Well, I've been talking to him a lot about, well, hey, it's not timeshare exits, it's just a process and it's a system. And so what is the next thing we can help people exit? And so a big thing we're starting to really look at are like solar contract exits or XYZ exits. So it's not necessarily a product of timeshare exits, it's just the ability to exit something. Because all it is on the other end is a consumer, I guess you can call it just like a consumer attorney, a consumer protection attorney. And you're just, I get like 500 flies in my office all of a sudden. I don't know why. I don't know if this is like a medieval sign that something is about to happen, but yeah, this is a very bad omen for the. No, there's going to be a crow that shows up and a snake. It's going to get so biblical in here. So, so I kind of look at that as something that we're going to explore more. Legal, I like because there are many different niches. We do quite a bit in legal now, but I want to look at the things outside of just mass tort, personal injury, social security, disability. We do a lot there, but there's so much in legal. There's a ridiculous amount, and so I've actually begun the process of trying to look at things that require people to have no money up front. And I look at the campaigns that crush it, that do volume, and I start to say, okay, why is Social Security disability a thing? Why is ACA a thing? Why is motor vehicle accident a thing? There are, or not really motor vehicle accident, but we'll use ACA and SSD. These are things that are funded by the government. They are no cost to the consumer, and there is a need somewhere for these things. And so I've begun to really just try to go down the rabbit hole of what are some of these products or services for consumers that are subprime that we can offer to them while also being very compliant and not being malicious, and just not taking advantage of people. Because I think once people see that, oh, government money, somehow it always evolves into there's a shitty side of it that always just seems to pop up. And so I kind of have been looking at what are some of those programs that we can build in that we're solving problems on each side. So, but to maybe give you a simpler answer, I think auto insurance is going to continue to grow. It's going to grow or regrow. I think tort will have its comeback in the new year. I know we've talked a lot about tort, and surprisingly, we don't do any business. We just talk shit, which actually that's our problem. We actually never get to business. We just talk 45 minutes about.
I think last time we tried to run an MVA campaign together, we started talking about chicken salad.
Yeah, we started about from the market near you.
Village Market. Where we grew up, Anthony.
Village Market,
salad, which is a rarity.
I'm a big chicken salad guy.
If you get a good chicken salad, you got to stick with it. So.
Well, what is a good chicken salad to? Is it like grapes and cucumbers?
No grapes. Cucumber in there, not too mayonnaise-y, like real chicken.
Celery?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sean, are you a chicken salad guy?
I love chicken salad.
Like, okay, are you going just mayo with meat or like what's your desirable mix?
Yeah, so I do like grapes in there. I do like celery, some cucumber.
Wow, all of those?
Yeah, maybe a little onion.
It's a big salad.
Not too much onion. And I used to like walnuts, right? If there's like the Waldorf Astoria chicken salad, or whatever it is.
That's a hotel, I think.
Yeah, it is. What's the?
that is a hotel.
Something like that.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's a Waldorf chicken.
Right, a Waldorf chicken salad.
But I can't have nuts anymore, which is a true story. So
really?
yeah.
So, like, well, can you have peanuts?
No, no nuts.
Isn't a peanut not a nut?
Well, I can't. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But like anything like that, I
Ooh.
can't eat because it's you don't digest it very well. So I have
Okay.
digestive tract issues for everyone watching.
Yes. Hey, I think 3 years ago developed a gluten allergy, which it was like, take my fucking foot. Don't give me a gluten allergy. So where are we going with this? Oh yeah, we don't get a lot of business going because we end up talking about teeth brushing routines and chicken salad.
Right. Yeah, the important
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah, for sure. But I would say that anyone trying to find the next vertical, have an 80% cash product of like, okay, I'll run Medicare, I'll run auto and all of these ones, and save like 20% to find that next thing. I guarantee somebody has that next thing already and they're running it and they won't share it.
yeah.
So I guess just going back because I'm generally curious about solar exit, right? Like, would someone like how like what are they going to do? Have someone come take the solar panels off the roof, or like what would a solar exit look like?
I don't know yet. We haven't gotten that far. But that's an interesting one because it's like a timeshare exit. You just don't go there anymore. Somebody else already owns that property. Whereas a solar exit, it's like, okay, cool, I'll get you out of the contract, but what about those things on your roof?
Yeah.
I would imagine a lot of this would be, I mean, here's with solar right now, you can exit your solar contract, but there are huge fees with it, and there are a lot of penalties. And like Solar City, for example, they'll come and get your panels off a roof, and it now belongs to them. So there already is this existing thing, just like timeshare. There's already a huge penalty and process to do it, but it's more just around the negotiation of like, how do I do this without getting my ass handed to me and get out of it cleanly? So I think it's more just having an additional help to get you out of that solar contract easier, if that makes any sense.
If someone's starting out that's listening to this, wants to get into this business, what do they need to do to get started?
If you want to, I mean, it doesn't really matter who you are. If you're a media buyer, if you're a network, if you're whatever, I would say that when I started, there wasn't a lot of like content to like go and learn from. I kind of just had to like split test it. All right, if I do this thing, what pops out the other end? And then I'll do it 100 more times, and then that's my use case, my whatever, my test. Now there are so many smart people, and there's so much content that I would, before you even try and start, just try and build up that mental war chest by networking with a lot of people. And I know that there are times where like I'll hear people say, go to a conference and network. Do that. Definitely do that. But some people can't afford to do that. And there's a realistic angle to that. Some people can't get on a plane or they don't have enough money to do that. Ask for, just find somebody's Skype, find their Facebook profile, find their email. Don't text them. That's maybe a little bit too intrusive. Whatever. If you got to do it, you got to do it. And just be like, hey, I want to talk to you. You're somebody that maybe knows a lot of shit. I want your advice. And then have something ready to talk to them about. You're probably going to get a lot of people that don't give you the time of the day, but you're going to get somebody who will. And now that there's so many people in this space, there's more people to turn to. By no means am I like above anyone. I still like to chop it up with people who have started 2 years ago. There's so many people smarter than me in this space. I'm actually going through a really fun process of rebuilding our internal media buying team. So I'm extremely excited about that. And I've reached out to people I respect, and I'm like, hey, I'd love to pick your brain on what works and what doesn't work, and maybe I can share some of this content with others. So I would say if you're going to start out, talk to as many people as you can, but be ready, be prepared. Maybe have something to talk to them about. Don't just say, hey, how do I be successful? Okay, make money. Like there's not really a whole lot of ways to go there. But if you're like, hey, I feel as if I can do Medicare well, what should I do? That person would love to hold your hand. And hey, by the way, I love this because if I'm a network, hey, maybe I get a publisher in the making at the same time and I can help them out. So I would say talk to as many people as you can, educate yourself as much as possible. And then when it comes to starting a campaign, if you're like a media buyer, really start to build up your war chest of cash. It's a lot of people talk about big theoretical stuff, You know, like what I said, talk to people. That's cool. You still need money to make this shit work. So build up every dollar you have and put it away so that you can then try and crack a campaign or whatever that is. Be extremely frugal when you start out because you're going to get your ass handed to you. Someone's going to punch you in the face. Like I say, I love the analogy of running ads will kick, it's just going to continue to kick you in the face. And when it stops, it's just stretching its other leg to start kicking you back in the face again. And that's what media buying is. And that means you're going to lose a lot of money. So talk to a lot of people because it might save you, it might prevent you from losing more money. Save up your money to test as many things as you can, and then ask for help. And if there's a place here on this podcast that has a spot to like share my info, fucking spam me. I don't care. Like, I love it. I've had more conversations that are random where I've actually gotten business out of it. And I don't know. It's just fun. We shouldn't be so closed off.
Yeah. So we will put up your contact information.
Yeah, we'll get all the handles, all the email, all the stuff at the end.
What's the best practical joke you've ever played on someone? Could be in the space or outside.
I've had so many. I mean, there was the one that I did to my son that we were talking about, where I told him that there's money hidden in the house somewhere and there's a scavenger hunt. There was never any money. He's 8 years old. Probably still looking. Actually, no. Can I tell a joke about Sean's brother?
Sure.
That was a good joke we involved you with, yeah.
Yeah, so I actually, I don't know if we should say this.
We can always edit it out, but for those that are watching, I have a half-brother who's in our industry. His name's Kyle.
And he was working, he was interning and then worked for us at Palo Media Group. And I think I overheard that he was getting some like lab results back. He was waiting on Quest to call.
Yeah.
So I called Anthony. I was like, hey, you got to call this kid as Quest and scare the shit out of him.
Yeah, and I called him as pretending to be a doctor. Yeah, and I went through a series of questions to learn about his health history, and he answered me honestly, very patient. And yeah, and then I think he left that call thinking I have Ebola.
He did. I got a call from my mom saying, hey, your brother thinks he has Ebola. I go, he doesn't have Ebola. And she goes, well, you better call him. He's on the way to the ER right now. So I had to call him and let him know that was a
Dude, this is the first time I'm hearing about this.
That
part.
was a slow.
This is incredible.
Too, he left the office, and like, quite frankly, we didn't think he was like appropriately enough upset about it. He was like white as a ghost. I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, the doctor just said I might have like Ebola. So I'm like, what?
That's incredible.
And then I guess like an hour later, Sean was out sick that day. I think he called me.
Yeah,
he's like,
my mom called me.
He's freaking out. Like he's gonna go to the ER.
No, he was on his way. My mom was so mad at me. She was so mad. She's like, who did this? I'm like, don't worry, but I know who did it. She's like, you better call your brother right now and tell him he's not dying.
Yeah.
Incredible. I am an incredible prank caller. I have this person that I've been calling. I've called this one dude near me 6 times, being different people every time. It's like a Mo and Bart situation right now. And he falls for it every time. Every time. I've had him go to his local town hall to fill out paperwork for something that doesn't exist. I'm trying to get him to cut down a tree right now in his front yard. So we'll see how that goes. But he's a friend of a friend. His brain is a bit fried. He's a consistent goer of fish shows.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's quite the easy target. But yeah, last time I called him, I was from the town, and I said his tree was too close to his house, and so he's getting quotes. Yeah, he's getting quotes right now from arborists. And this is like a couple weeks ago. I had him show up at Foxwoods once because I got him thinking he won entry to a poker tournament, and apparently there's no poker tournament. So yeah, that one I felt bad about, but okay.
Not that far.
Yeah. But there might be there might be one less tree in someone's yard very soon. I'll keep you posted for when you invite me onto the next show.
Yeah, that'll be the first question.
Yeah, dude, this is awesome. I'm excited to see what you guys do. One, because it's you're in person, like you two are in person, and I have one request though. I feel like there should be like a call in, like a dial in, like a phone number we can call into the show if there's ever a live session, but an actual like an actual phone. Yeah. like Howard Stern
Yeah,
style.
like someone's calling it. What is your favorite trade show in our industry?
Affiliate Summit East. I love New York. I can't stand Vegas anymore. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I just love New York.
Most people don't like affiliate Summit East, I feel like.
If I go to a show, I want to do stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to be no knock against Vegas. I just I like to do stuff. In Vegas, it's like you're at the Circle Bar, you're at the Chandelier Bar, and that's it. I'd like to go 2 blocks and see a homeless dude scream at someone else because he ate his sweet green or something like that. Like, there's more to see. There's so many little shows I love too, but I'd say that
Follow-up question from that one real quick. Best location of a trade show you've gone to?
That's an awesome question. I would say it was either Denver. Denver was cool. Or I mean, they had it in Boston one year, and that was awesome. I know it's local to me, but it was just cool. I would say those two. What about, actually, I'm curious, what about for you guys?
It's a PI live show. I think it's like Performance Insider Live or something. They had it in London, and that show was awesome. Everyone was super friendly. Everyone was actually looking to do business. Like, all the affiliates there.
Nice.
Real affiliates, yeah. It was really, really cool. It was like everyone was just doing deals. It was so cool.
Nice. I've never been.
I don't know.
Have you ever been international?
Yeah, this fly. Hold on. I'm closing the door before he comes back in. It's getting warm out, so they're coming back. I haven't done an international show. I was supposed to speak at the one in Barcelona, and then it was COVID, and I was so stoked about it because I've never been to Spain. So I'd love to see more in Europe. I'd love to see. I would like to just go to one first. That'd be cool.
What is one of your guilty pleasures?
I would say the ultimate guilty pleasure that I know it's like I'm doing this is peanut butter cup Ben and Jerry's. That thing, when it touches my hand, like, that's my pint. It's not going anywhere else after that. My wife she'll dig out each cup and then she'll put it back in the freezer, and I'm just like, hey, we can call it quits now if you want to keep doing this.
That's like exhibit one if you ever get like divorced.
Yeah, I'll open it up. And I was like, who? Yeah. She like excavated it. It's like a diamond mine. It's like, what is this? This is just vanilla ice cream now. So okay, that just turned into a counseling session. It's definitely peanut butter cup, Ben and Jerry's, and pizza if I can eat it. So yeah.
What's the best business book you've read?
I'd say Scaling Up. It really kind of just gives you a good insight into like everything about a business, not just numbers and stuff. And then it allows you to like say, okay, if culture's a thing, let me go read culture books. It's a really good starter book, in my opinion. And I think a close second, there is no close second. It's really hard to say. Business, I would say that's one of the best business books. There's also other books that are great too that maybe aren't really business, but help in business. Like The Art of War is such a cool book. And I don't read it to like, some people are like, I read The Art of War while I do a cold plunge and drink matcha tea. It's like, no, just read the book. It doesn't have to be that complex. But Scaling Up by Vern Harnish, I think there's like a 2.0. I don't know what it's actually labeled called now. I think it's maybe called The Rockefeller Habit. That's such a cool book to really just break down the obvious stuff. So I'd say that one.
And then last question for me is, if you had to go back in time and give some advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Definitely buy Ethereum earlier. I would say my younger self in business to keep building something more that you own. We kind of went away from building our own internal media assets and things like that at some point, and we lost it straight away a bit. We're starting to do more of it again. If we had stuck to that, we would be, not that I'm regretting it, but we would be in a much different space right now. We would be a much different business. And I would say also, I would talk to myself about time. Spend your time wisely. And don't just spend it wisely. It's easy to say. Audit yourself every week, every month. Audit your time. Where does it go? Attach a dollar amount to it. You did 8 hours of this thing. How much money did it bring? It brought in $10. So you just made 4 cents an hour. Wonderful. You want to make 4 cents an hour your whole life? Get rid of that shit. Focus on the stuff that matters, and then everything will fall into place much easier. So I'd say that.
Good final thought right there.
Great. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Jerry Springer right there.
Like Jerry Springer, which you two have been on, I believe, right?
We Steve Wilkos on.
Oh, Steve Wilkos.
We're not
in the audience.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. Which I think you've showed me the clip.
Yeah, we have the pictures.
And
all right. Well, if anybody, we're going to put the links and stuff with this podcast. But if anybody wants to contact you, what's the best way to do that?
My Skype is my email, so Anthony@palomediagroup.com. I think you could search that and you'll find me. I hope there's not some. I hope no one clones that now and tries to pose as me. You can visit us at palomediagroup.com or palomobile.com. They both forward to the same address. And literally, I love talking shit. So anyone who wants to reach out to me and learn about Sean and I's first encounter ever in person, feel free to reach out.
You're under an NDA on that, my man.
That and just.
I think that expired. I think that has since expired.
When you do reach out to Anthony, just remember, make sure you have something to say.
That's right. Don't waste his time.
Don't waste his time. It's precious.
Put it like that.
Thanks, Anthony.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much for being on the show.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that was Anthony Paluzzi of Palo Media Group. That was fun.
Another good time. I really enjoyed conversation with him. I really love how authentic and just real he is. I think he shared some stuff that not everyone shares in the space about some of the difficulties you have running a business, and it's always a breath of fresh air to know that we're not alone as business owners. There's other people that go through the same struggles that we have, and that they're open and willing to share them. Yeah,
the vulnerability is nice. I just like how much he actually enjoys running. He said like breaking shit and building it back up. Just that's cool. Like that's his it's a puzzle almost. And I mean, it's amazing that he gets his buddy to might be chopping it down a tree. So that's awesome. So again, if you want to get in contact with Anthony, we'll put all of his handles and email address and Skype all with the links to this podcast when it airs. So thank you, Anthony, for coming on. Sean, anything else you want to wrap with today?
No, I just want to, extend, if you're interested in being on this podcast, you like what we're doing, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us. Go on LinkedIn To The Point Podcast and drop us a line. And we look forward to seeing you all soon.
Yeah, and start to subscribe to us on YouTube. I think I'm the only subscriber right now. So
what do they say? Smash that like.
Smash that like and subscribe. I'm sure even though I'm the only person liking it right now, there's probably some arguments in the comment section going on. But we'll have a Facebook page set up, Instagram, YouTube. We'll be posting this on LinkedIn. So please support the show. If you like it, great. If not, let us know. We won't really give a shit. But either way, we'd like the support. So
thanks for listening and watching. We appreciate it.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Loosen your grip.